That Damn Show on the Boost Radio Network. Anthony the Ant-Man, Keith, Logan, the Loganator, Tyler, Henry here, and we got a special treat for you. Usually joins us on our resident boxing guru analyst, Coach Anthony Rodriguez. He's here live in studio. Talk about boxing, all the big news going on in the boxing world from It's On Boxing MMA Gym. You can follow his website, itsonboxingmma.com. Instagram at Coach Anthony, and Twitter at Coach Anthony01. Coach Anthony, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. It's great to have you actually here, live in studio. We've been doing the phone tagging along, but you're here today. We got a lot of things going on this week. I know you were at the Bernard Hopkins Sergey Kovalev fight. What did you take away from that?
Hey, man, it was a good fight. I mean, Kovalev showed that he was able to control the fight basically every single round. He kept good distance. He stepped in and stepped out with nice, good shots. And, you got to tip your hat to Bernard Hopkins. I mean, a man being 49 years old, fighting a young lion at that level, at this stage of his career. I mean, it really showed that Bernard Hopkins is a true warrior, a true champion, and he has nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed about. I think he did an excellent job, and it was a great fight, and I was glad I was able to witness it live.
Now, you mentioned Bernard Hopkins' age, 49 years old. In your opinion, is Hopkins finished?
I mean, I would say yes, because, I mean, at this point, what else does he have to prove? I mean, he's fought all the greats from middleweight to light heavyweight. I mean, he's been boxing guys. I mean, he fought Roy Jones Jr. when Roy Jones Jr. was in his prime, and we're talking over 10 years ago. He beat Felix Trinidad back, I believe, in 1999. I mean, this guy has been beating the top-level guys for so many years. What does he have to continue to go out there and prove? I think he's doing a great job with Golden Boy as a promoter, and he should just maybe focus on that at this stage.
You're talking about Hopkins. Where does his legacy stand against other great fighters?
I think his legacy stands as one of the greatest of all time. Any man who could hold the middleweight championship as long as he did, then move up to light heavyweight and fight every single top contender that you can possibly fight. I mean, nobody wants to fight this young kid, Kovalev. He stepped up to the plate and fought him. I mean, he goes down, hands down, no questions asked, one of the greatest that ever did it.
So now Sergey Kovalev unified the WBO, WBA, IBF titles, and was this the fight he needed to solidify himself as a top boxer?
Sergio Kovalev?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so. I mean, if you beat Bernard Hopkins, you're definitely legitimate. Now, had he fought Bernard Hopkins a few years ago, when Bernard was really in his prime and won, then I would really be completely sold. I mean, Bernard Hopkins, I went to the press conference after the fight, and I listened to him, and he said, I don't want anybody to use my age against me. He made it very clear that, it wouldn't have mattered had this been 10, 15 years ago. I disagree. I think years ago, Bernard Hopkins wins the fight. So, I mean, honestly, I believe that Sergio will still have to fight some of the other guys out there. You got guys like Andre Ward. You got guys that are really good. You got the other gentleman from Canada. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but
Adonis Stevenson.
Adonis Stevenson. Yes, he's another guy that, I mean, obviously they don't want to fight due to whatever business reasons, but that would be an excellent fight. You got Pacquiao out there. So there's a lot of fights for Sergio out there to really, really prove himself.
As you mentioned, Anthony, we are here with Coach Anthony Rodriguez, boxing trainer and coach. My question to you is, we were talking about Kovalev versus Hopkins. What do you think about Kovalev getting the credit he deserves? Do you think he, you talked about him solidifying himself as a top boxer. Do you think because Hopkins is too old, maybe Kovalev didn't get all the credit that he deserved for this fight?
I mean, I haven't heard anybody not give him the credit. Everybody that I spoke to kind of gives him credit. Everybody knows that Bernard Hopkins is the real deal. So, with that being said, I think that he's getting the credit he deserved. And if he wants any extra credit, he's not going to get it because obviously Bernard Hopkins is 49 years old. How much credit do you want? You beat a legend, but at the same time, you beat a 49-year-old legend. So that's about as far as it's going to go. Think about Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr., when he was in his prime, was unbeatable. And then when he kind of got to the end of his prime, he kind of was losing to everybody he fought. So, you can't sit there and give Kovalev too much credit, but you got to respect the win because Bernard Hopkins is still in good shape for a man his age, and he's still a very game fighter.
Again, we're talking with boxing coach and trainer, Coach Anthony Rodriguez from It's On Boxing MMA Gym. Check him out at www.itsonboxingmma.com, his Instagram at Coach Anthony, and his Twitter at Coach Anthony1. Coach Anthony, what did you take away from speaking with Kovalev after his fight?
We just had some short words. One of the sparring partners that he sparred by the name of Steve Jaffard was a good friend of mine. We actually trained together in the amateurs, and I just basically had a few words with him, let him know that me and him were good friends and that we knew each other. And he was like, okay, him and Steve helped him get prepared for this fight, and that was it. He didn't have much time to talk. He was icing his hand. His hand was a little bit hurt, so he did a good thing. He won the fight, and he deserves the victory. And I tip my hat to him, and he was a very humble, nice man.
Now, the big fight coming up this weekend, Chris Algieri, Manny Pacquiao. Chris Algieri's coming in 20-0, 8 knockouts. Pacquiao, we all know his history, 56 wins, 5 losses, and 2 draws, 38 knockouts. We know Algieri has never fought outside of New York City, but he's kind of got this little, Rocky-type storyline going on for himself. It's going to be Algieri's accuracy and discipline versus Pacquiao's speed. What are your thoughts? Give us a little insight on this bout.
Man, this is a very, very intriguing bout. Anybody who's counting Chris Algieri out, they got another thing coming to him. Chris Algieri is a for real technical boxer. I think he is the real deal. For him to get knocked down 3 times like he did against Pernavikov and come back and win just shows you the perseverance that he has. It shows you that he has a lot of heart. And the way that he won with his lateral movement and his jab, it just shows that he's an excellent technician. I think he's going to present difficulties for Manny Pacquiao, and I'm very intrigued and excited about this fight.
What will you think it take for Algieri to upset the Pac-Man? Can he get it done? Well, you mentioned that you think he can get it done. What will it take? What does he have to do?
Well, Algieri has to do is he has to box from the outside. He has to use his reach. He has to use that jab, and he cannot stand still in exchange with Manny Pacquiao, and he can't get into a slugfest. Another thing Algieri has to do is not get starstruck. You got to make sure when he looks across that ring and they mention all the accolades that Manny Pacquiao has accomplished over the years, that he doesn't look and say, wow, I was a fan of this guy. This is a guy that I grew up watching. He has to just sit there, stay focused to his game plan, which I think should be sticking and moving, similar to like a Sugar Ray type style, which is a similar style that he has already, and basically not get over anxious and try to exchange with the Pac-Man, because we all know the Pac-Man, he can crack, and he's going to come to fight, and he can end the fight early if you decide to exchange with him.
Now, Coach Anthony, I think, it wouldn't be wrong to say a lot of people are expecting Pacquiao to win. Most people who aren't familiar as you in the boxing world, maybe Algieri doesn't have a chance. But let's just say Algieri has a good fight. He ends up winning. What would that do for his career? And also, do you think it would say more about Algieri, or you think it would say more about Pacquiao?
I think it would say a lot about Algieri. I think Algieri is just one of those guys that the people don't know yet. Another thing I think it would make Algieri a superstar. The guy has charisma. The guy has the look. He's kind of like an Oscar De La Hoya in a sense. All he needs is to win this fight in spectacular fashion. I believe no matter what stage of Manny Pacquiao's career, he can present a problem due to the style. He's a very tall, rangy guy with good footwork. He seems to be, he seems to have a lot of heart. For his last, he shows that he has a lot of heart. What I'm just concerned with is his chin. Will he be starstruck when this fight happens on Saturday? Those are the two things that I think could be a major factor for him losing.
Well, we all saw when he fought Provodnikov that his eye was closed shut, and he still was able to, with his precision, with the accuracy, was still able to come away with that victory. It was kind of like a stepping stone into what we could possibly see with him coming up. Let's turn the tables now. Let's say Pacquiao wins.
Yeah.
With a win, does he finally get his shot at Floyd Mayweather?
Manny Pacquiao shot at Floyd Mayweather 5 years ago. I mean, Manny Pacquiao's fought every single person that you've put in front of him. I think Manny Pacquiao could win this fight, like I said, in a slugfest. Manny Pacquiao has to use his speed. I think his speed is going to be a major factor in this fight. Manny Pacquiao wins is mainly going to be due to the speed, and I don't know if Chris Algieri's ready for that speed.
And then, what are your predictions for this fight coming up?
I'm still not 100% sure. I mean, if I had to put my money on it, I'm going to go with Manny Pacquiao due to the fact that Manny Pacquiao has the experience at this level, due to the fact that he's extremely fast, he hits hard. And Algieri, even though I said all these great things about him being very technical and having good skills, he is a little bit slow, and I could see Pacquiao outspeeding him. Also, Pacquiao has excellent in and out movement, which I could see him coming in, stealing punches and stepping out of range just far enough, making Algieri miss, and then stepping back in with a quick combination. And those are the things that I don't know if Algieri will be able to train for. I don't know who you spar to get ready for Manny Pacquiao. I don't know how you prepare for Manny Pacquiao. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna say Manny Pacquiao wins this fight.
Do you see a knockout? That's tough, right? That's tough.
I think Manny Pacquiao could stop Algieri, because I think Algieri may get a little bit overzealous in this fight. But I can also see it going to decision. I'm not gonna make that prediction. I mean, because I could also see Algieri winning the fight. If I saw an upset, I wouldn't be surprised. Put it that way.
Would it be a heavy upset though? You mentioned people shouldn't sleep on Algieri, but do you think it would be an upset, and how big of an upset would it be?
It would be an upset because most people don't know anything about boxing. So when they hear Manny Pacquiao, the first thing they're gonna say is, "Oh, that's Manny Pacquiao. He's fighting Floyd Mayweather," and then therefore. They automatically count the other guy out. They don't even do any research. They probably never even watched boxing. They probably just went to a bar and just ordered a drink and said, "Oh, that's Pacquiao on TV. Let's sit here and watch the fight." So of course they're not going to give Algieri a chance, But honestly, Algieri has an excellent boxer's chance. Most guys say, they got the puncher's chance. I'm giving Algieri the boxer's chance.
I have a question for you. You're talking about how some people don't know much about boxing. Do you find it hard now with MMA up and coming that boxing is kind of like the second, like the sun, like behind MMA? I mean, a lot of people nowadays, you think MMA and like you said, you go to a bar, you're going to watch MMA here and there, but not many people talk about, oh, I'm going to a bar to go watch boxing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw over the weekend a guy that I became pretty good that I speak to every once in a while by the name of King Mo. I just watched him on Spike TV, which is basically free cable. Mm-hmm. If you have basic cable. You don't get that much in boxing anymore. You also don't have... And also, you got to understand, since MMA is the new sport, a lot of the younger guys are learning mixed martial arts as opposed to just learning a martial art or just learning boxing. So MMA is the new thing. So the younger generation is watching MMA. Boxing has more of the older crowd, guys 30-plus, guys that grew up with boxing. So, yes, I would definitely say that MMA is making a huge impact on the fan base. Now, like I said, I just watched a MMA fight over the weekend with King Mo. I thought he did great. He won his bout, and I love it. I think that a fan of combat sports should be able to watch both. I don't see why there's so much of a thing where either you're an MMA fan or a boxing fan. I think both have an outlet for both. If you're an MMA fighter, you should want to watch boxing because a lot of us stand up and striking. Mm-hmm. You can learn from some of these boxers that will help you apply it in your mixed martial arts.
You guys are hearing it here first. Live in studio, Coach Anthony Rodriguez talking boxing. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, more boxing news with Coach Anthony live in studio. Anthony, Keith Logan, the Loganator, and Tyler Henry. This is That Damn Show on the Boost Radio Network.